All right, good morning, Broncos. Welcome to our online instruction for today. So today's class will be pretty much like a lecture style for today. I won't have an ed puzzle to pause and stop for you all to ask questions. So pretty much you're going to have to take notes as you would a college lecture to receive the information for today. I will also have these links as far as the video, but also Purdue Owl, where I'm going to get my information from for you all to access and use in your own personal study time. But for now, I want you all right now to pull out your notepads, your Google Documents, and what you need to take notes for today's short video lecture. So good morning, everybody. Let's start this work for today. So now we're going to begin to move on to the next part of our research process. And as a reminder that when you're doing research, it is a process. Now, I'm going to give you all approximately a month and like 2 weeks to complete your research. So about 5 to 7 pages long of research for those who have to do it. And if you are a college student, your professor may give you a research assignment that may last a whole semester, or even if you go to like a professor that you want to work with on the side beyond your college classes, it may take a year or two or beyond to do proper research. But for now, though, we want to move on to our paper and our project of how to write annotated bibliographies. So step one in the process is obviously a topic, okay? Number two is your research question. And then number three, a thesis/hypothesis. It's important to ask yourself and put down in writing, I predict this phenomenon to take place from my research, or I predict this from the research, from the work I'm going to put in as far as the research. I'm going to predict this outcome as far as my argumentation. And then that part is done. It's now time to find your sources, your books, periodicals, your movies, your primary sources, right? Secondary sources to help to prove or understand your research topic. Today's about learning how to write, but first of all, understand what it is, but also write annotated bibliographies. Let's start that work. So first of all, a bibliography, as a reminder, can also be kind of used interchangeably with the works cited page, but there is a slight difference. Last week, I told you all that if you are doing research and you are reading a book, you reference a book or article, but you don't actually cite that work in your actual paper, that's okay, but you want to use a bibliography for your ending citation for your work. If you only read a book or article and only cite that work in your article or your paper, you want to use a works cited page. So for this paper, I don't mind if you all call it a works cited page or a bibliography. I don't really care which one you use. So this is an important part of your research, you all, is writing an annotated bibliography. Let's look on the screen today to understand what these things are and why they're important to do for your research process. So first of all, a bibliography is a list of all your sources, your books, your journals, your websites, periodicals, your YouTube videos, or etc. is a list of your sources used or referenced in your research. All right. Now, your annotation is a written, I will argue, maybe a paragraph or two of a summary or evaluation, or I will say an evaluation of those sources. Okay. Therefore, an annotated bibliography includes a summary and or evaluation of each of your sources. I'm going to show you all in 1 second a couple of mine I did when I was an undergrad as an undergraduate student at Michigan State. All right. Now, depending upon your project and your assignment and your professor, they may, for example, tell you, I want y'all to write a 2-paragraph bibliography on each source. I want to have a summary in there. I want you to assess it too and reflect on it as well. It all depends on what your professor is asking for. For this one here, I want to see in your bibliography the following things. Number one, I want to see a summary of this source. Okay. What is the main argument of the article? What is that author's thesis statement or something like that in the bibliography or the annotated bibliography? That's important. So summarize your source in this paragraph. Number two, you have to assess it. The CRAP test will give you what you need to assess it. So this right here, for me, I didn't necessarily like put this in my bibliography because in my reflection piece, the next part on this the bibliography piece, I kind of talked about the crap test model there. For example, the authority, the author is a professor at Michigan State, wrote 14 books, and does work on X, Y, and Z. That's me assessing the book. So I don't necessarily think this is necessarily needed as much, but in case you want to just know about it, it's right here on the screen. But lastly, you want to put on here for sure a reflection piece. Once you summarize and assess a source, you have to ask yourself how it fits in your research. Was this source helpful for you or to you in your research? How does this resource you use, article, book, etc., help to shape your argument or even change it in a certain degree as well? And how can you use this source in your research project? And lastly, has it changed how you think about your topic? Okay, it's called reflection. And this, you all, the summary, the assessing of the resource right and reflection piece is all written in your annotation bibliography in your paper. All right, you need all three, or sometimes depends on the professor, maybe one or two of those. Now, I want to now go show you all, or go down to the next part in here about why writing an annotated bibliography is important for your research. Number one, it helps you out. Okay. To be an expert on your topic, you have to do what? You got to read about it. Not only read a book about it or article or something like that, but actually know who are the main scholars who have written about this work. What are the top books or top articles that can talk about your topic area in depth? And once you read that, you're now becoming an expert on this topic area and field. Your ethos is getting stronger. Your authority is getting stronger too as you read more about a topic. Your professors who will be an undergrad have PhDs. They're an expert in 1925 women's rights issues or something like that. They're an expert in English literature in America in 1970s and 80s and 1920s. I don't know. They're an expert. So first and foremost, when you write this out, it's helping you out to become an expert in your field for you to learn about your topic. That's right. Number two, it helps out other researchers. Let's say somebody has never read about your topic, love or mental health or racism or something like that. I have to figure out and learn this topic right by doing what? I got to read about it. So if you write an article or write a journal about this topic as a researcher who wants to learn about this topic, your work will help me understand the topic more in depth. So it's very important that this part of your paper is done right or done period, because you want other folks to also access your research too. A part of the research process, you all, as you all know from last week, as a researcher, is to help other people and to help knowledge to increase. To have an understanding of things at a more of an in-depth level, you got to have people look at your sources and why it's important and how it will change or shape your argumentation for your research. All right. Now I'm going to show you all a couple of these examples here that I did when I was an undergrad at Michigan State when I had to write these out myself as a student. So Purdue Owl already has a great website that shows you the format of this already. I will post this link into your Google Classroom, but I want to see a live one I did when I was a student. Let's see my first one I wrote. Well, not first one I wrote, but I wrote this, I think my junior year in college. Oh yeah, I remember this one. So this is from my history class 311, and I had to do a paper. It was called Vote for Me, The Triumphs and the Struggles of Black Leaders in the Reconstruction Era. So I wrote a small little topic, an abstract right there, but here's more an introduction to. Here's more so I want you guys to look at is how I wrote my annotated bibliography. So this one here is more shorter. I did more so of a summary of each source, and that was it. It's a little bit shorter, as you see from the example here, but that's how it looks. Same format. I have it by the, author last name or the article title if the author's missing, and I wrote very short summaries of this, of every source. So that's a very simple one. But the next one is more so of a summary and reflection piece of my bibliography I had to use for a different class. Where's it at? Sorry, did I exit out of it? Oh, here we go. Okay. So this next one is a class I took in undergrad called History 480, and it was on Black women's, I think, history. And I made a paper that was titled, I Just Want to Work, the Black Woman's Labor Experience in the United States from 1865 to the 1930s. Same thing here, a little introduction to my work and my research. And then finally, I did annotations here. As you see, automatically, they are a little bit longer. I did a summary, but I also did a reflection piece about how I can use this work in my research and how it impacted my argument I tried to make in my paper. So a little bit longer here. See that, how a little longer now? I did that work, but I put in that work for this one. I got a 4.0 on this one too. And excuse my errors here as well, but it happens. Child nurses, I guess. All right. So anyway, I want you all to kind of look and see here that when it comes to bibliographies here, it's important. I'm just fixing these errors. I'm sorry, I got to fix them. That when you're doing this work as a scholar, I will look at this work, right? And I will see, okay, look, a paper right here, paper right there, this source here. And I'm going to pretty much go in here and read this. And then I'm going to say, okay, cool. I can use this in my own research, or I can read this article or book to extend my knowledge about this topic as well. All right. That's how it will look. So in closing, I'm going to go back to our first part, that when you are doing a bibliography, it's important that you follow the format that this gives off. It is a summary, an assessment of your source, and also a reflection piece too. And lastly, there is a way to format this the same way you would do for a works cited page. You're going to have, of course, the author, last name, first name, depending upon the source. And then what I did for mines, I had about 2 tabs over to begin my paragraph. There's 1 tab over actually. And I wrote a paragraph of what I had to write about the summary, the reflection piece, and also the assessment of my sources. All right. That's that, you all. So take time today in the work today that's next up to not only remember your topic, research question, your hypothesis right, but to also begin doing the work of writing your annotated bibliographies. One more thing, for your paper, you want to write, for some of you all, you can literally, if you keep the same sources, you can copy and paste what you wrote and use that for your bibliography you're going to write for your paper. So I don't mind you all just keeping this work here and copying and pasting it for later. Because as of right now, you're now beginning the research process. All right. All right. Peace, y'all. Have a good day.